Hello, my name is Jonathan Davis, and amongst other things, I present the Booms and Busts show podcast, which you can get on audioboom.com, iTunes, and wherever else. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a market which, in the last bull market, went up 1,000%, then collapsed, and as far as I'm concerned, is now back into a new massive bull market. What might you think I'm talking about if I say it is 20% of America, 15% of Canada, and 11% of the world? It is actually the proportions of electricity generated by nuclear power. It is what I call a quality global level asset. It is not esoteric or a tiny niche. On the contrary, if you look at that first chart, you will see the price of uranium over the last some 50 years. You see a massive bull market in the 70s, another bull market in the mid 2000s. And you know what? In the last few months, or 8 months, uranium has gone up 38%. As far as I'm concerned, we are now back into a massive bull market. And why do I say that? Well, if you look at the next chart, you'll see supply and demand. You will see that in the 2000s, there was a massive deficit of supply over demand, and prices soared. Then in the early part or the bulk of this decade, there was an oversupply and prices collapsed. Well, look at that. It is estimated that last year, because the numbers aren't out yet, we had a massive supply deficit. Thus, it seems to me that we have gone back into multi-year deficit and multi-year bull market. Do you know, there are 454 nuclear power reactors in operation around the world in 31 countries. Globally, 55 more are being built as I speak. And that will be an increase of 14% extra electricity being produced. On the other side, the World Nuclear Association estimates that at least 80 plants of those now operating will close by 2035. However, on the other side, we can see that to add to the 454 reactors in operation, 55 are being constructed, and if that wasn't bullish enough, 151 more are planned or already on order. Now, the World Nuclear Association predicts China will use all of the current mine supply of uranium by 2030, all of it. China's share of global demand is soaring. By next year, China will already consume 45% of global annual uranium supply. Kazatomprom is the largest state-owned Soviet-style Kazakh producer of uranium. It's the largest producer in the world. Japan takes 2/3 of Kazatomprom's production. In a few years, it will take all of it. So with Japan and China, what are all the other countries going to do? I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to pay a lot of money for guaranteed supply. Why? All you have to do is think of electric vehicles. We know miners with market capitalizations of under $50 million who've got reserves under the ground of 1 to 2 billions. Are you invested? You should be. Our clients certainly are. It seems to me the returns are going to be astronomical. If you're not looking at uranium, ask yourself, why not?